contemporary topic, but the very old one, the expert problem. The problem of experts that we think are experts but are not experts, or people we don't think are experts effectively are experts. Who is the expert? Where are the experts? So, let's talk about the restaurant business. So, when I stopped trading, I retired from trading. I went, as I said, into non-tennis, non-chess, because I was incapable. A friend of mine, and then went into academia, and now sort of back to trading, by the way, with this. Don't tell anyone. So, a friend of mine decided to go into the restaurant business, where he, for the last 15 years, had been losing his money extremely steadily, right? This restaurant business in New York City. And he made the following discovery, is that restaurants have, there's a whole ecology of people who talk about restaurants. The two kind of people, the people like you who have a credit card. You have a credit card, you go to the restaurant and use your credit card. And then there are a collection of people who talk about restaurants. Food critics, people like that. So there are awards in the restaurant business, and like the best sushi with soft music in New York City, all right? Or the best mixture of Portuguese, Chinese, and Lower Manhattan. These kind of categories, right? And then each one of them could win, the best award. And there is a gala in December. Guess what? More than half the restaurants who win awards are not there to receive them, they're bankrupt. What does it tell you? There's a very, very important rule we can make from this, and it's as follows. If you are judged by your peers, or are you judged by plastic? Plastic being a credit card, you know that thing you put, in a machine? Okay. Who's judging you? That restaurant award thing, in that restaurant award, people are being judged by food critics and other restaurateurs. So any business in which you are judged by peers, and we're going to talk a lot about bureaucrats. Once I start with bureaucrats, I can't stop. Bureaucrats are judged by bureaucrats, all right? Not by reality. Bus drivers are judged by reality, okay? If they're bad, they have an accident, they fall off a cliff. So, there are two categories of people. Those who are judged by their peers, like academia, guess what? That business rots. It starts being initially very good. Then you give it 10, 15, 20, 30 years, it rots to the core. Okay? So, the expert problem is as follows. This is a very famous cartoon that I think doubled my blood pressure the minute I saw it. Okay? I went into a state of rage in the New Yorker, where it says, there have been some criticism of so-called experts in the United States, and and this cartoon is about people saying, oh, yeah, no, of course, you guys are rioting against the experts, what they call populist movement, and look, the pilot, we're going to replace him. That's not true. That is pure intellectual sophistry, and let me explain to you why. The pilot is an expert, because where are the pilots who are not experts? They are at the bottom, few French people at the bottom of the Atlantic, the Pacific, Atlantic, the Rio-Paris thing, a lot at the bottom of the Black Sea, some at the bottom near Malaysia, some near the North Pole, and so they are dead. Bad pilots are dead, okay? Where are bad bureaucrats? They're still there. Okay. But it's very easy to judge an expert if the field has expertise, and that's what I call skin in the game. The plumber, if the plumber is not an expert, how long will it take you to figure it out? 16 seconds? Okay? So the plumber, now how do the plumber make money? At year end, they go and there's a committee of other plumbers, and then there is a senior plumber who signs off on your bonus declared by other plumbers? No. Your credit card. And basically, they're going to overcharge you. So you may complain about your plumber, okay, too nasty, too rude, too this, too this. You may complain about the expertise. Maybe there's a variation in expertise between plumbers, but I don't think anyone here will say that the field of plumbing is a field full of pseudo-experts. You agree? No. But how about economists? How about psychologists? How about all these soft fields? Okay, this is the mind of an economist on a good day, all right? On a clear day, they have a lot of clarity of mind. This is how they think. Why? As we're going to see, if you're judged by reality, you have to be effective. You have to have a clear mind. You have to know what you're doing, all right? If you're judged by others, what are you going to do? Do complicated stuff. Because you're not judged by reality, the impression of others. You're going to fool others, but know something very, very complicated. So you read papers in economics that are very, very complicated, but then, so you spend 6 weeks reading the paper, really, 32-page paper, very complicated. At the end, realize there's nothing, right? It's all BS, but complicated. So this is what they do, and bureaucrats like to complicate things. We're going to see, to keep their own edge going. So this is the discussion that's taking place today. It has much less to do with geography, whether England or UK is part of Europe or not part of Europe, or history, the Roman Empire, and has a lot more to do with the fact that when you put 200,000 empty suits in Brussels, you may get some people to complain about it. Right? Europe does not equal Brussels bureaucrats, because bureaucrats are really pseudo-experts. And if you see the effectiveness of what happened in Brussels, it's the standard case of metastatic bureaucracy. And have you heard of metastatic diseases? You know, where you have a cell that multiplies, malignancies multiply very quickly, and then they kill the host. In this case, they multiply at the expense. So, for example, I don't know, they cannot guard the borders. Why would you want to have a central authority to do things that cannot be done by locals, okay? They cannot guard the borders. They used to use Gaddafi, to guard the border of Europe with the flow of migrants, and now they killed them, right? So now they lost control of the borders. But on the other hand, they have rules that if you have a farm, and you have a tractor on a farm, and the tractor has windshield, you must have windshield wiper. And if you have a windshield wiper, the speed of windshield wiper should be no less than 27 rounds per minute, but no more than 40. That's what they spend time regulating, all right? That's what you end up doing with bureaucrats. That's the case of 4 experts. And they judge one another, they're judged by one another. So, this is pretty much what's going on with Brexit. And you notice one thing about these bureaucrats. They're boring. I mean, you can see them. You can see them, like, I'm short-sighted, but, I sometimes need glasses to drive, but I don't need glasses to see a bureaucrat. I can spot one, very easily from not far away. So let me summarize. There's a class of people, I call them intellectual yet idiots. Because for a specific reason, okay, is that if there's no check on the part of reality, you will never be able to figure out if they know what they know. There's another principle I wrote in Skin in the Game, and I've written about it earlier in the Inserto, is that it is much easier to macro bullshit than micro bullshit. Sorry for the Latin in it, but that was, the text, okay? Much easier to macro BS than micro BS. Because if you do micro BS, if you're a weather forecaster, guess what? We're going to know if you're full of baloney or not within a week, okay? But if you're predicting climate ideas and you give us all these fancy equations, nobody will ever know if you're not, just like making up things. And effectively, they are making up things. So,